We could potentially be in for a big 48 hours this weekend because we have seen some fresh intelligence, some signals that unprecedented GPS jamming is occurring over the Middle East. And this is going to cause a lot of turmoil in the financial markets, and we're going to talk about it in today's video. So we have some breaking updates to talk about for the Iran conflict, and then we're also going to talk about the copper price, the silver price, the gold price. And also, artificial intelligence, is it a bubble or is it legit? Plus an absolute ton more. So if you guys enjoy it, make sure to like this video and let's get straight into this one. So you can see right here, this is fresh intel that has literally broken moments ago. Whether this materializes into something big this weekend, we'll probably find out within the next probably 6 to 12 hours. But having said that, there's a lot of GPS jamming happening around the Gulf. And this tends to kick off when strikes are getting close because they don't want return fire, and that's what the GPS jammers do. They stop the precision missiles and drones, or they try and prevent them to the best of degree from that actually coming through. But you can see a lot of GPS jamming happening over the Gulf area right now, and this is coming off the back end of what CBS has said. So according to CBS, the US is indeed preparing to resume strikes in Iran, but as of this afternoon, no decision has been made. Additionally, per the report, members of the intelligence community and military have been cancelling Memorial Day weekend plans as defense and intelligence officials update recall rosters to facilitate the movement of personnel out of the region. Such efforts were taken previously to limit the amount of US personnel in harm's way of Iranian fires. So that is something just to have on the radar this weekend. So next 48 hours, could we potentially see a strike? Trump has, traditionally done stuff on the weekend because the financial markets are closed. So we won't get that pure data of, the exact prices of, the S&P 500 and some of the metals. But what we can do is we can actually go over to the crypto market to see if there's actually any impact right here. So if you have a look right here, gold just slipping down below 4491. So that is the crypto version of gold, backed by gold, $4,491. So a slight little decrease. And we will, see what happens right here with this Strait of Hormuz. But I do think strikes will resume at some point. Exactly when that's going to happen, we're just going to have to sit tight and find out. But we already know it's been a very costly war so far, with over $1 billion worth of US drones getting shot down already during this conflict. Now, what's been interesting in the last few months is the S&P 500 has been racing to the moon. Most of these gains have actually been made out of tech stocks and AI stocks right here. Michael Burry has come out with an interesting analysis, and he says, just be warned, the entire AI boom may be built on temporary demand. So he's published a post today calling NVIDIA the North Star, Orion the whole Milky Way, and explaining why that makes it the most dangerous stock in the market right now. And his core argument is NVIDIA is selling into a concentrated group of buyers, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, who are all racing to buy chips, not because they need them for real revenue generating products right now, but because they are in training and benchmarking phase that will not last forever. So he's saying it's a temporary demand. There is a lot of money flowing into AI stocks, and look, the S&P 500 has been absolutely pumping. But also at the same time, it is real. Like the AI revolution, it is definitely real. I use AI in just day-to-day life. I find Google Gemini is probably the best one to use currently, but I've used a few. I've used Claude, I've used Perplexity, the aggregator, and ChatGPT, but I find Gemini is very, very good. But having said that, you guys know AI is not perfect. You can see right here this funny clip. You've got a robot just beating someone up in the crowd right there in China. So look, still lots of work to do with AI, but potentially it will have a massive impact on the economy. But all the robotics, it's not really built just yet. And you see right here, this guy is still a work in progress in the background in China, I believe. So it's trying to do like a Michael Jackson impression. And yeah, it's still got some work to do right there in the AI field. But having said that, so just keep that on the radar for artificial intelligence. But I do think once they get all the robotics perfectly synced up, remember, they're going to need metals to build them. So if we have a look at the copper price, and we bring this back to gold, silver, and copper, copper's showing a lot of strength. There was actually a big drop down kind of recently, not a huge drop down, but it did go relatively a little bit much lower right here. Actually got down to 617. But you can see here, it worked its way back up. And copper is one of these things, if you study it, I've studied it in AI, the supply shortage is real for copper. And remember, the demand is like everything for this. There doesn't really seem to be a good substitute for copper. Yes, you can use aluminium in some circumstances, but honestly, not really in a lot of circumstances as well. And this thing has a huge supply issue in the future. So copper is looking fundamentally pretty strong, even though there has been a little bit of volatility right here on the price graph. I have seen some crazy analysis, not crazy, let's just call it bullish, because, you know, we like the bullish optimism. Let's get behind it. But if you have a look right here, Andy Sheckman agrees with Michael Oliver's call for $500 silver by summer and says it's the most asymmetric trade he's ever seen. China is already trading silver near $100. India and Russia are quietly accumulating. Gulf nations are selling US treasuries to buy gold and silver, and physical silver keeps leaving the COMEX. And yes, look, silver is very much exciting. You need it in military industrial use as well. So there is definitely a real use case for silver, but it's also got that, you know, psychological backing behind it. People trust it more than they do US dollars and, you know, fiat currency and government taxes and things like that. So there's a very strong case behind silver. You know, will it go to $500 and just race? I don't know, because, you know, there will obviously be people taking profits on this as well, because the last time we saw a big rally, and we had a really nice rally on this, let's remember that, we got up to, what was the all-time high for silver? Nearly $130. Let's bring it up right here. So 122. So you'd be looking at like a 4x from the all-time high for silver. And but remember, what else powers up silver is there is a lot of debasing of the currency, right? So the US government's going to continue to print out, continue to tax people. So are all the other countries in the world. And yeah, seeing $500 silver, you know, is that going to be unrealistic in the long term? I probably don't think it will be, but I will say, you know, silver, there's a lot of fundamental things behind that. And if you have a look right here, $4,500 for gold. So look, I think this weekend, obviously it's going to be important to see what happens with the Middle East. So whether this materializes into like an actual war or not, we will find out, but just something to have on the radar. And what will Trump's strategy be this time? Because his last strategy, let's be honest, didn't work. Iran still has an air force, still has a navy, still has lots of things, still has drones, still has missiles. So what are they going to do differently? That's the big question. The only thing that I did see some analysis was if the US was, or the US or Israel was basically to destroy all of Iran's energy production facilities. So that was one of the things I did see. And obviously you guys can make your own ethical conclusion on that. But whether Trump will do that or not, I'm not sure. Anything short of that might just be more of the same and more bad news for the global economy. And yeah, it just is what it is. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. And guys, that is today's update. I'm going to finish it off with a robotic haircut right there. So even the barbers aren't safe at the moment if you want a nice little buzz cut coming in from AI right there. But guys, that's a major update for today, this weekend actually. And I will see you in the next video. Appreciate you tuning in.